ensure everything is defined properly within our contract. From the definitions results, we can quickly review a list of the existing definitions in the contract, review the use of the term against the definitions by using our handy split screen view, and check through our defined term issues and ensure the terms are used and defined consistently through the document, and navigate through the categorized items: used not defined, defined not used, inconsistent capitalization, defined not capitalized, or out of alphabetical order, and we'll look at examples of each of those. The Litera ribbon, run the check using the Analyze button, and we're looking at definitions and defined term issues. So first of the tiles, definitions, is simply a list of capitalized terms in the document in the order they appear and the quantity they appear in. And for this session, we're actually going to take a deeper dive into the defined term issues tile or report. First thing to note, we've got a number of categories here: used, not defined. Now this will be by far the biggest category, and I'm going to look at a few tips and tricks when working with that to filter that list. We've also got defined not used. We'll run through an example of that as well. Inconsistent capitalization, out of alphabetical order, and we'll run through an example of each of those categories. So the first one, used not defined. Well, this is contract companion overfinding. Now we've got ways that we can train the system. So for example, parties, if this is a term that keeps popping up as used not defined, I can choose to ignore that. Parties will no longer be flagged as used not defined. So there is a process of training the system, if you like. Now I mentioned that the used not defined is going to be the largest category. Well, top right hand corner, to make that list a little more manageable, what I tend to do is filter by used not defined, and then I run the mouse down, and then I can pick and choose the items I may want to mark as it to be ignored. So filter. Moving down the list, we've got a defined not used. So as I've been editing the document, I've likely deleted some paragraphs in the document. Now I've got the button here to remove the definition. It can be done by selecting with the mouse and delete, but let's use remove definition here. A little bit further down we have inconsistent capitalization, and the scroll buttons here will take me through the document for every instance of the word collateral in lowercase, and I have the option to fix and to fix all. I always like to point this out. So fix would only add an uppercase C to the beginning of the fourth instance of collateral, and fix all, every instance of collateral will be put into title case. And bylaws, yeah, so we've got out of alphabetical order here. I'm going to cut and paste into the correct order, and bottom right hand corner I'll refresh my list. Back to my list of used not defined. Now there might be items on here that, well, I do want to add a definition for closing date, and that's when I can use the define button. And note that it adds the definition in alphabetical order with standard text in square brackets. Insert definition here. That's a neat placeholder that we'll need to review and complete before finalizing the document. Parties, this is the item I added to the list of definitions to be ignored. I can select that and mark that as to do to bring that back into the list. Okay. By the settings button on my dashboard, I can get to a list of items I've marked as used, not defined, but also I can add using this menu. I'm going to choose to ignore parties. Okay, so click back again, close. So just to recap, that's under the settings menu. Back to our ribbon at the top. Of course, our entry point to the dashboard was analyze. Moving across the ribbon, defined term checker. Well, we can check selected text only. Notice it's a split button. The top part of the button will run the defined term checker on the entire document, but our access point was via analyze and the defined term issues report. Show active drafting uses color-coded underlining in the body of the document to pick up defined term issues. We've got on-screen certificate of incorporation. If I right-hand click on that, I do get the option to ignore or to insert that as a definition in my list. And here's the item we looked at. For collateral, I get the option here to remove the definition. So the color-coded underline allows me to use the right-hand click to save me going into the Analyze dashboard. That's show active drafting. One click turns it on, one click turns it off.